Hello, my name is Dan Scuria-Herman, and today I will be checking out this video, True Facts, Crows That Hunt with Sticks, because I saw that was trending and it sounds very interesting, far more interesting than everything else that was in trending. True Facts is not okay. I'm 3 seconds in. I'm already lost. True Facts is not appropriate for children, which is already having me worried that I'm reacting to this. Not a child, but nor for adults who don't act like children. So it wants an adult that acts like a child, but not actual children. So I'm worried about what kind of facts are going to be in this video.
Let me tell you about New Caledonian crows. Now, I'm not talking about the old Caledonian crows. Those ones were idiots.
I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be... New Caledonian crows. How are they different from the old Caledonian crows? I thought it was gonna get into the science of it. No, the old ones are just that really caught me off guard. I am so caught off guard and the video has barely even started.
No, the New Caledonian crows live on a group of islands called New Caledonia. Must be named after the crows. One thing that New Caledonia has plenty of is...
Yes, the island was but obviously, crows came first. They built the island, and then the island was...
the girth of their beakedness, as well as a distaste for smashing their heads repeatedly.
You know, I went to this evolution class. Not went to, I had to. I was enrolled, as it were, in this evolution class. Hated every second of it, almost failed it, simply because of the teacher's negligence. But, in that class, there was this whole thing about Darwin's finches and the beak width and all this thing. It was like, this is never going to come up in any sort of situation ever in my life. And then I'm watching this video and hey, look, it's beak width. There we go. We're back at it. Well, I don't remember much because that teacher did not teach, so to say the least.
Repeatedly into things has no doubt driven them into a certain cleverness. These crows have figured out how to use sticks to fish around for grubs and other things that have burrowed into logs and branches. Now, this by itself isn't that much of an achievement. Old Caledonian crows...
You know, it is very interesting, like, how advanced crows are and how they have, like, societies and stuff. I tried talking about that with my evolution teacher, but he did not care. But it's the fact that, like, they're one of the few species besides humans that actually use tools. It's incredible, the amount of, like, intelligence that these birds have. It astounds me every time.
Anyway, when they're young, New Caledonian crowlets learn how to make and use sticks from their parents and other adult crows. Here, the one in the middle is the baby, and you can see the adult on the left leave a stick.
I'm actually surprised because most... for my... God, this entire video I'm just going to be talking about evolution, the class. But for my final project for that class, I wrote this whole thing about like a hypothetical animal, that sort of thing. And a big thing with that was like, no, it doesn't learn anything. All its skills are innate, because that was a big thing in evolution. Which also is incredible because crows are learning. They're not just like, they're not born with it, you know. They're not born with it. They're able to acquire these skills as they go on and move through life, which is something that very few other animals do, humans included, and the few that can actually use tools and learn. And so it's just amazing that crows are just so advanced, and we just barely take note of them. So I'm glad I stumbled across this video.
I mean, before we even get to sticks, you can see what they do with the leaves of the pandanus. On the right there, you can see a tear started by a crow, but what they're really up to is making these. The one on the left is a sort of basic instrument that takes advantage
They're
of
making like scalpels?
the edge of the leaf. The one on the right, though, is made by a different group of crows and is more of a complex Swiss Army knife. You got something for any hole. But if you're going after something that doesn't just bite the end of a stick and has wedged itself all up in some tree cranny, I mean, then you need yourself a fancy crow stick. And let me tell you, that's a process. First, you have to cut yourself a little section off a plant. Now, it doesn't look
It's
like
incredible that
much,
they
but
could
the
just
location
think
of these first cuts are crucial. And that's because
this
not every
through and
crow
make these
stick is a
choices and
straight
do
shaft.
this.
Many of them have a hook on the end. One way they make these hooks is first finding a fork in the stem of a plant. From there, you can see this one cuts one of the branches right above the joint, and then the next cut is on the stem right below the joint. In addition, these crows have beaks that are fairly straight instead of being curved downward, and this means
It was always, I know it's a big thing, or maybe it's just me that doesn't understand it, but crows and ravens, I know, like, one is Edgar Allan Poe and the other one is, like, the smartest animal on Earth, but I don't know, I always get them confused, so I feel like maybe, obviously, both the raven is going to be, Nevermore, but I feel like, are ravens smart too, or are they just like the normal intelligence of an average bird? I don't know. I always get the two of them mixed up. But maybe the videos about crows and how smart crows are. So maybe ravens are just a sad bird that just can't do anything.
Straight instead of being curved downward. And this means that unlike their close relatives, if they grab a tool with their
So
beak,
they are close
it will
relatives.
be in the area where they have
I don't know
binocular
anything
vision.
anymore.
Now they can hold their crow stick in a few different ways. In this case, the food is pushed way back in that front tube there, which comes equipped with a woefully short stick. Betty, that's her name, has to use the short stick to get a medium stick, and then a medium stick to get a long stick. And only then, when she's trying to figure out how she ended up in this escape room/restaurant, can she eat her food. Anyway, straight A's for Betty. Now this crow, Pierre, same.
That's a puzzle that most humans today would not be able to solve. Like I get that it's simple, but as a hyperbole, I just feel like crows that are smarter than people.
Like if you give them parts that fit together, they can build new compound tools. In this scenario, the sticks they're given are too short, but along with those sticks, there's parts of syringe.
I know we're worried about AI taking over because of ChatGPT and all that. What if the crows take over? What if the crows build an apocalyptic death machine out of sticks and stones and pulleys and simple machines? This is kind of starting to freak me out because I don't know. I mean, it's obviously very controlled. It's obviously very situational. But what's the limit? It feels like these crows and these examples keep getting smarter.
But what if they're really just good at sticks and don't really understand cause and effect, for example?
Okay.
One question is whether they can use their smarts to figure out new tools in situations they're not used to.
This is the scary
There's
part.
an Aesop's fable about a crow that uses pebbles to raise the water level in a pitcher. And New Caledonian crows do seem to learn how to do this to raise a bit of food floating in a tube. Now, to see if the crow really understood what was happening, they tried a few things. For example, giving them a wider tube and then an easier to fill narrow tube to see which one they'd go for. They gave him an option of a tube filled with sand, I guess to weed out the idiots. Oh, and this one's interesting. They had a setup where one of the outside tubes is connected to a center tube, but out of sight under the table. And the crow had to figure out which tube to put the rocks in. Anyway, the results of all this seem to be a mixed bag. These crows can certainly learn how to use new tools for new goals, but they might just be using trial and error without having a real understanding. So they can do quite a bit solo. What about working together? All right, so we'll separate two crows.
They're not going to be a threat. They're not going to be a threat. Also, I noticed behind me it's crow black now. I was going to say raven black, but I don't even know that's expression, or I just made that up. But yeah, sun sets earlier and earlier. But yeah, their adaptability isn't that good. Like, it's good, especially for an animal, but they're still not geniuses. They're just very smart for what they are. So they're not going to be a threat. I was kind of going overboard with what I was saying, but it's fine. They're not going to take over. We're safe from the crow invasion.
Ravens, also in the crow family, can learn to pull on strings together to get treats. And they can learn to wait for each other and have preferences on who they want to collaborate with first. And during all these experiments,
So there will also be the crow that never gets picked for kickball or whatever, or for string pulling. Now I feel bad for the crows. The crows are just mini humans with feathers and wings.
they'll remember. In this one, for example,
Yeah, that's scary. The fact that like if you get on a crow's bad side, literally generationally, they will hunt you down.
and listen, members of the crow family are excellent mimics.
You say, hi. Hi.
What? So you have these hyper intelligent birds that can use tools and can mimic human voices. I'm back on the crow apocalypse train. This is that comment. What? Okay, I think that's it. I was gonna ask if there was gonna be a message at the end that said no crows were harmed in the making of this. That was fun. I definitely, this guy makes very interesting videos, or at least this one video that I've seen. Maybe this is just a fluke thing and he doesn't make good videos, but I'm gonna go out on a gander. It's a bird pun, and say that he does make good videos. So yeah, this was fun. Hold on. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Fear the crows. And simultaneously be in awe of the crows and their insane abilities. I've been Daniel Scuria-Herman. And yeah, until next time, adieu.